Hello everyone and welcome back to the Denver Broncos franchise. In the last episode, we tied the Jaguars at 30-30. They played for the tie at the end, kicking a field goal in the final seconds of overtime, and thus we are 9-5-1 now on the season. Today's matchup is against the 3-12 Raiders, who I believe have lost 9 or 8 maybe straight. The Raiders have indeed lost 8 straight, and the Chargers have lost 3 straight, and those happen to be the final 2 weeks of our regular season. If we take a look at the playoff picture, it's still mostly the same. The Chiefs did clinch the AFC West divisional win with a win last week. If they win this week, they will clinch the 1 seed in the AFC. Currently, the only team capable of catching them is the Bengals, and that would only be if the Bengals won out and the Chiefs lost every game. This does feel like a bit of a trap game here against Vegas. They are an 83 overall team, which is technically better than us, and have just struggled to find wins this season. Also, if you're curious about stats on the season, we'll go through them for our team really quick. Dennis Colbert has 3,600 yards, 37 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. Tajay Spears has 816 yards and 6 touchdowns. Javonte Williams, 711 yards and 6 touchdowns. Receiving, Chester Truman, 78 receptions, 1,400 yards, nearly 1,500, and 15 touchdowns. And then there's Rashad Winters, just under 700 yards with 9 touchdowns. And then Zay Jones, 468 and 3 touchdowns. Jay Stewart up to 459 and 4 touchdowns. Marvin Mims, 344 and 5 touchdowns. Defensively, Justin Reed leads the way in tackles, and Zach Allen and Devin Bush lead the way in TFLs. Baron Browning with 14 despite missing a few games. Khalil Mack has 12. Drew Sanders has 10. Baron Browning has the most sacks with 7. Zach Allen has 5. Khalil Mack 4.5. Devin Bush 3. Drew Sanders 2.5. Jonathan Cooper 2. And Quincy Walls is our leader in interceptions with 4. PS2 has 3. Drew Sanders 2. Justin Reed 2, Stevenson 2, and Mathis 2. One thing I wanted to look at before getting into this week's action is a few players that we need to attempt to re-sign. I'm going to let Chad Muma walk. He is a pretty good player that I think can start on a lot of teams, and he has no re-sign interest whatsoever, so re-signing him is going to be rather expensive. I'm pretty happy with Will Ware being a backup or finding a different backup. A lot cheaper, wants to be here, so we're going to withdraw our offer from Chad Muma. Will Ware, though, I will make an offer to. He is relatively inexpensive. We'll go 2 years, 1.8 million with a 1 mil bonus and see if he takes that, and he does. Khalik Hudson is a guy I'd love to bring back, especially if he wants to be here, as he's just a good depth player. Let's lock him up through his age 30 season, and we'll go 1.8 and 1.1 for salary and bonus respectively, and he takes it. Inyoma Uwazurike is another guy who is a good depth pick. I already sent him an offer and he declined, but we'll probably find a way to bring him back. I like him quite a bit as a backup DT. Drew Tranquil, I think, is a guy we could bring back for 1 or 2 seasons. He is age 30 now, so he probably will start to regress, but another excellent depth player that I think could even be a spot starter for us. We'll send him this neutral offer and see if he accepts, and he does. So with that out of the way, let's get into this week's action. We've got a cold opponent. Coach, the Raiders are struggling, but sometimes a team can trip up unexpectedly by looking ahead to the next game. Any fear this is a trap game? This is definitely a trap game, but the only 2 options are to act like it isn't a trap game, which is crazy. I'm just going to say no fear. I think the smug response is a terrible idea. Not at all. This is the NFL and everybody is a threat. We stress that week in and week out. The second you overlook an opponent is the second you make headlines for getting upset. The Raiders are struggling, and all players will have -5 break, tackle, play rec, and tackle for this game. Goodness. And with that out of the way, let's get into the weekly strategy. Their top threat, of course, is Josh Jacobs. The Raiders are number 1 in outside yards per carry, but only 27th in outside attempts. They're also number 1 in inside yards per carry, but 27th in inside attempts. So they just don't run the ball despite having probably the best running back in the NFL. Looks like Mario Haywood has been struggling in every range except for short, 95.6 rating short, 58 medium, and 76 deep. By the way, if you're curious, these have been my focus players for the majority of the season: Dante Wake, Dennis Colbert, Jay Stewart, Quincy Walls, JD Robertson, and Avery Baptiste. And with that out of the way, way, let's start the training and hope for no injuries. Starting with the defense, we'll scroll down the list looking for injuries there on the right side. Nothing, thank goodness. We're healthy on the defense this week. Offensively, hopefully healthy as well, and it looks like we will be. You have 3 players to upgrade before we get into today's game, one of them being Tyjae Spears, who has definitely been the better of the 2 running backs this season, although the running game in general has been very strong as of late. I'm going to keep putting points into elusive back for him. One thing that would be huge is an upgrade to his speed, and he does get +1 speed, +1 carrying, +1 change of direction, +1 spin move. So that brings him up to a 90 speed. So he is actually finally officially faster than Javonte Williams. They've had the same speed this whole time. I think Spears just looks a little quicker because of his change of direction rating being higher. And Roschon Johnson has an upgrade, a guy we brought in fairly recently to be the 4th running back on the roster. I like to run 4 running backs just because we get injured a lot at the running back position, although we've been relatively healthy this season outside of Javonte Williams missing a couple of weeks. Roschon will get a power upgrade. He gets 1 awareness, 2 stiff arm, and 1 trucking, and these are his core attributes currently. I think that if we move on from Javonte Williams this offseason, if we trade him away, Roschon would be the new power back in replacement. Obviously, he's no Javonte Williams. He's not even close, but I think Tyjae Spears would move to being that main guy, and then Roschon would only come in once in a while, whereas right now we're flipping kind of back and forth between Javonte and Tyjae Spears. And finally, Jay Stewart has an upgrade. This will actually make him a true 70 overall. If we take a look at his ratings, they're on their way up, but they're still not super impressive, although he is getting a lot better at route running. I need to improve his hands more than anything else, but none of these specifically focus on catching, unfortunately. So I think we'll go possession and hope that that catch in traffic also gives him a catching upgrade. He gets 1 awareness, 1 catch in traffic, 1 impact block, 2 pass block, 1 run block, 1 run block finesse, 1 run block power, and 1 short route running. So not really anything he needed. He needs medium route running and catching more than anything else. I mean, it's good that his blocking is improving because he wasn't particularly good at that either. He's getting there though. He's -2 overall from morale, but is a true 70 overall now, and he does have that superstar development. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this week's matchup against the Raiders. It is Monday Night Football here in Denver. So we've got Denver in the snow-capped helmets today, which I think are their best looking jerseys right now. I think that their current jerseys, their primary jerseys, are super outdated. And then the Raiders, one of the only teams with basically no alternate jersey. So I had to throw it back to the 2017 Color Rush jersey, which I think looks pretty good. The Raiders will start with the ball today, so Tanner Brown will kick us off, and we are underway here in Denver, the penultimate week of the regular season. And here comes Mario Haywood, the rookie quarterback, a rookie versus rookie battle today. And in the first matchup, Denver took the victory and Mario Haywood struggled and has thrown 20 interceptions so far this season. We'll see if we can continue to have Mario playing poorly, but here we go. Haywood will throw on the first play and downfield swatted away. Drew Sanders back after a week off, had an injury last week. Back this week. That makes it 2nd and 10 from the 25. Haywood out of the shotgun with Jacobs, and a huge blitz coming. Couldn't get the screenplay off to Jacobs. Would have gained a ton of yards if he could, but now it's 3rd down. Can the Broncos get an immediate stop? 3rd and 10 for the Raiders. It's a fake to Jacobs and then throwing downfield, and that is Hunter Renfrow on the catch. Tyreek Stevenson over there in coverage. It's a 1st down for Vegas. So a big pickup. It looked like a bad throw, actually, and a good adjustment from Hunter Renfrow. 1st and 10 from the 49. First handoff of the day for Josh Jacobs, and it's a good one. Gets 7 yards. Jacobs currently 4th in the NFL in rushing yards this season, so having another excellent season. And Denver sending a blitz this time, and that is broken up. Drew Sanders, that's why we love him in the middle of the field. That was intended for Devontae Adams, and Drew Sanders able to break it up. So now it's 3rd and 3 from the 42. Running out of time, Baron Browning brings him down. Down goes Haywood. Baron Browning, his 8th sack on the season. 4th and 10, the Raiders will punt it away. A decent punt sees this Broncos offense starting from its own 8, and it is 1st down and 10. There's a couple really good impact players on this Raiders defense, and Spears gets a carry, a pickup of 8. The Raiders, of course, a couple drafts ago, drafted strong safety Glenn Loud, who had superstar X Factor right out of the gate, and we will look for Jay Stewart, and it's dropped. That was Glenn Loud in coverage. It was set up perfectly in the commentary by accident, but a drop from Jay Stewart. 3rd and 2 from the 16. We'll go for Chester Truman, and it's a terrible throw from Dennis Colbert. 4th and 2 now. Should have been an easy completion to his #1 receiver. Instead, we punted away. The Raiders winning the field position battle with the 2 punts. It's 1st and 10 from the 37, and Haywood will look to throw. Zach Allen and Baron Browning are in the backfield. A weird throw off his back foot, and it's caught by Devontae Adams. Mario Haywood is a talented player, just has struggled this season. Putting that talent on display with that throw, that was pretty crazy, and Devontae Adams gets a 1st down. So they're to the 48, and Haywood to throw again. Zach Allen in the backfield again, and that is missed. It looked like a decent throw, maybe just a bad route from the receiver. 2nd and 10 from the 48. As Haywood to throw again, and wants Michael Mayer, has him. Drew Sanders is there, brings him down, an awkward looking tackle. It'll be 3rd and 8. 3rd down, 8 to go for the Raiders from midfield. 8 minutes left here in the 1st quarter. And Haywood, time to throw, finding Michael Mayer, and he holds on through the Dante Wake hit. It was good coverage. 1st and 10 though. From the 35, fresh set of downs, and Haywood back to pass again. Wanted Renfro out of reach. Haywood seems a little nervous. He's getting rid of the ball very quickly, and it hasn't worked out in his favor a lot. But this time, running out of time, and down he goes. Khalil Mack and Zach Allen, call him Sack Allen, in the backfield. 3rd and 19. 3rd and very long for the Raiders. As Haywood to throw, has time, has Michael Mayer, beat the zone on that play with his streak down the field. 1st and 10, Vegas to the 14. We are great at giving up very, very long 3rd downs. It's one of the things we are the best at even. 1st and 10 from the 14. Devontae Adams in motion, and it's going to be a handoff to Josh Jacobs, but Drew Sanders read it the whole way. It's a loss of 2. From under center, it's 2nd and 12, and Haywood rolling to his right, coming back towards the pocket, and then throwing it away. And that'll set up a 3rd and long. Like I mentioned, we are great at giving up 3rd and long. Let's see if we do it again. 3rd and 12 from the 16 as Haywood will look to throw. Zach Allen, Baron Browning are both there, and it's another sack for this Denver defense. 1.5 on the day for Baron Browning. It's 4th and 23, and the Raiders are going to have to settle for a field goal attempt. Baron Browning and Zach Allen been menaces on the right side of the line today. Daniel Carlson still the kicker here in Vegas, and his kick is up, and it is right down the middle. It'll be 3-0 for the Raiders, but a good stand from the Denver defense. The Denver offense did themselves no favors on the last drive as Dennis Colbert missed a throw and Jay Stewart had a drop to end the drive. Tajay Spears gets a carry and he gets maybe a yard. 2nd and 9. On 2nd down from the 23. Colbert will throw and he misses again. Looking for Rashad Winters, another very easy throw and another miss. It's going to be a very, very long day if Dennis Colbert keeps playing like this. As he'll look for Jay Stewart down the field, a crazy throw from Dennis Colbert. Still not his best, but close enough to Jay Stewart for a 1st down. Maybe he can settle in now. 1st and 10 from the 45. Colbert will hand off to Tajay Spears. Finds some extra running room. That is a pickup of 7. On 2nd and 3 from the 48, setting up a screen for Javonte Williams. Good blocking down the field, and he's got a decent pickup to the 36. 1st and 10 for Denver. 2.5 minutes left to play here in the 1st quarter as Colbert is back to pass. Over the middle finds Rashad Winters, and he's got a 1st down. Another inaccurate throw from Dennis Colbert, but it was close enough to Rashad Winters. From the 25, it's 1st and 10. Dennis Colbert back to throw, no time, a big blitz. From the Raiders, he was looking in the direction of Chester Truman. It gets 2nd and 10 from the 25, and Colbert will throw for Jay Stewart, who is by himself here on the right side. A big stiff arm and goes out of bounds inside the 10. 1st and goal, Denver. Colbert settling in a bit now. That throw was on the run, so a little bit more challenging than just standing still, I guess. 1st and goal from the 8. It'll be a handoff. Javonte Williams, room to work with only Glenn Loud to beat, and he does so. Going down in the end zone, touchdown Broncos. Javonte Williams now leading the team in rushing touchdowns after being tied with Tajay Spears at 6. now in the solo lead with 7. And speaking of 7, Denver will take the lead 7-3. So as we near the end of the first, it is 7-3 in favor of the Broncos from the 25. And a stacked right side for the Raiders. It's a handoff. Josh Jacobs, Drew Sanders there again. And it's a pickup of 4. 2nd down and 6. Haywood to throw. Throwing quickly. Finds his man. It's Renfro. Damari Mathis in coverage. Can't break it up. It's a 1st down. 1st and 10 from the 46. Last play of the first quarter goes to Michael Mayer. Brought down by Devin Bush. And it'll be 1st and 10 in Bronco territory for the Raiders after the break. When Haywood has had time to throw, the Raiders have had no issue moving the ball through the air. 1st and 10 at the 38. It's a throw again. Devontae Adams incomplete. Broken up PS2. 2nd and 10 from the 38. Haywood calling an audible and takes a snap. Fires. Devontae Adams, bad throw. Incomplete. 3rd down and 10. From the 38. 3rd down and 10. Haywood running out of time. Baron Browning's there again. He gets it off, but it falls incomplete. And it's a 4th down. Baron Browning has been all over Haywood today. Daniel Carlson on to attempt a long field goal. That kick is up, and it looks to be good, and it is. Daniel Carlson, one of the best kickers in the NFL, nails a long one, and it is 7-6. A bad kickoff return sees Denver starting from their own 16, so not exactly ideal field position, as Colbert will look to throw, and launching one, tipped away. That's in the direction of, I think that was Jerry Perry. 2nd and 10. From the 16 on 2nd down and 10, it's a handoff. Tajay Spears and Rashad Winters can't hold his block. Would have been a huge run. Instead, it's a loss of 3. So that makes it a 3rd and 13 from the 13 as Dennis back to pass, lobs one up, wants Chester Truman, has Chester Truman, and he is gone. Say goodbye. See you later, Chester Truman. Skips into the end zone. Touchdown, Denver. Quiet last week, and here in a big way on his first catch against the Raiders. Just has elite speed. Anytime he's running down the field, it's a chance for a touchdown, and this time it is. 14-6 will be your score pending the PAT. 1st and 10 Raiders, suddenly down 14-6 after one big play. Haywood back to pass. Baron Browning chasing him down. He could take off to run. A ton of running room here. Baron Browning's too fast, though. And it's still a huge pickup for Mario Haywood, but Baron Browning showing off the wheels. Baron Browning is one of the fastest edge rushers in the NFL, and he's taking a play off after that, and I can't blame him. So Nick Benito's there on the right side. It's 1st and 10 Raiders. Handoff, Josh Jacobs. Good running room. Drew Sanders wasn't in on this play, so it was Devin Bush instead, and it's a 1st and 10 to the 44. The offense for the Raiders moves great on their side of the field and then kind of falls apart after they get past midfield. Avery Baptiste getting a TFL there. 2nd and 12 from the 45 as Haywood back to pass under some pressure. Gets it to his running back. That is not Josh Jacobs. And it is 3rd and 12 now. Jacobs back in the game. 3rd and 12 for the Raiders. From the 46, Haywood to throw. It's a screen setup, and it is caught by Josh Jacobs, but can't make Damari Mathis miss. I swear, Damari Mathis makes some open field tackles that are very clutch. And now it's 4th and 8. This will be another long field goal, and it looks like they're lining up to go for it. I lied. It's going to be the long field goal attempt by Daniel Carlson. This one just under 60 yards, and he's going to miss it wide to the left. It had the leg, just not the accuracy, and it is no good. Denver takes over with excellent field position now. 1st and 10 at the 48. Dennis Colbert back to throw, and he'll dump this off underneath. That is Jerry Perry on the catch. He gets 8. And that'll set up a 2nd and short. 2nd and 2 from the 44 out of the pistol now with Javonte Williams in the backfield. It's a run up the middle. Not a ton of room to work with, but Javonte Williams finds a way. 1st and 10 from the 41 with just over 6.5 left to play in the first half. Over the middle, looking for Chester Truman. It's dropped. He had to dive for it, so I don't blame him too much. 2nd and 10 from the 41. And back to passes. Colbert, big blitz coming, gets it off, finds Zach Ertz, who's laid out. But it sets up a 3rd and 2. 3rd down, 2 to go. Taking the snap and throwing for Chester Truman. He holds on through the contact, and it's a 1st and 10 for Denver. 2 catches, 93 yards, and the touchdown so far today for Chester Truman. I believe he only had the 1 catch last week, as we'll look to throw again, but down goes Dennis. A free blitzer on the play action, and that'll be 2nd and 17. 2nd and very long, under 5 minutes left now, as we'll throw for Marvin Mims, who's going to set up a 3rd and short to the 19 for number 19. 3rd down and 2 from the 19. It's going to be a handoff. Javonte Williams tries to get to the outside, breaks a tackle as he always seems to do, and gets to the 13. 1st and 10 Denver. Now inside the red zone, under 4 minutes left. 1st and 10 for Denver. And Javonte Williams will get a carry again and gets 5. 2nd down, it's empty set for Dennis Colbert. And he'll throw over the middle. Marvin Mims, it's dropped. A bad throw from Dennis Colbert. Marvin Mims couldn't make it happen. That makes it a 3rd down and 5 from the 8. Dennis to throw, has Marvin Mims again, and it's punched out. Zion Johnson also goes down with an injury, and we'll have to settle for a field goal attempt by Tanner Brown. 3 minutes left here in the first half. It's 17-6 in favor of Denver. Can the Raiders go down the field and get some points on the board before the half? Good block picked up by Josh Jacobs. Khalil Mack applies even more pressure, though, and it falls incomplete for Haywood. That makes it a 2nd and 10 situation, and it's completely empty back there except for Mario Haywood. It's a designed quarterback run, and it works out pretty well. Tripping him up is Devin Bush, but it's a 1st down. 2.5 minutes left in the first half, and flipping the play is Haywood out of the shotgun. Takes the snap, fires, finds his man. That one is caught, but it's only a 1-yard pickup. And now we find ourselves on the other side of the 2-minute warning. 2nd and 9 from the 38 as Haywood to throw. Wants Hunter Renfrow and has him. Tyreek Stevenson is in coverage. A bad angle from Dante Wake means that Hunter Renfrow will find the end zone. Touchdown Raiders. Dante Wake took one of the worst angles I've ever seen, and I can explain why, but it'll break the 4th wall. When you hit X to do a safe tackle, they slow up, and then they stay slow. So Dante Wake, when I tried to do a safe tackle, stayed slow. Hunter Renfrow finds a TD, and the game gets a little closer. 17-13 is your score. So yeah, if you didn't know, don't do safe tackles because it slows down your players. I always forget that. Minute 47 left, so we still have time to get some points on the board. We set up a screen for Javonte Williams. Gets a good block. Can he break a tackle? He can, and he steps out of bounds at the 41, a 1st and 10 for Denver. Despite struggling a bit in the accuracy department, Dennis Colbert has pretty good stats on the day. 1st and 10 from the 41, and we'll look to throw. We'll lob one up for Javonte Williams. That's probably picked. Should have been. It's actually Tajay Spears that was in the game, and it was a terrible throw from Dennis Colbert. That makes it 2nd and 10 from the 41 as Colbert is back to pass and wants Chester Truman, has him on the run. Glenn Loud gets his ankles shattered, and to the end zone goes Chester Truman once again. That juke move was disgusting. Chester Truman making everyone look silly. Our best draft pick from that draft class 2 years ago versus the Raiders' best draft pick, and Chester Truman takes the dub this time and finds the end zone. The only downside of scoring like that is that we left a minute 25 for the Raiders to possibly do some damage, and Haywood will throw, finding Michael Mayer, brought down by Dante Wake at 2nd and 5. They're now in the hurry up on 2nd down from the 30. It's a fake to Jacobs and a throw downfield for Devontae Adams. Bad throw from Haywood. 3rd and 5. 1 minute, 1 second left, and Haywood to throw. Throws quickly, and that is caught. Complete. 1st and 10. They burn their first time out. 56 seconds left. As Haywood out of the shotgun will look to throw. Has plenty of time. Finds a man, and that's punched out. Drew Sanders managing to cover 2 people on that play. Now only 51 seconds remain as Haywood sets up a screen for Josh Jacobs, and Drew Sanders will make the tackle. It's a 1st down to the 46. Jacobs got out of bounds, so the clock stops. 44 seconds left. Already nearing Carlson's field goal range. He missed one from about this distance before. Haywood fires, finds Devontae Adams. Finally gets a catch. PS2 wasn't close enough to punch it out. They use another timeout. 2nd and 1, 37 seconds left. They still have one more timeout. Haywood to throw over the middle, finds his man. It's Hunter Renfrow. Damari Mathis couldn't keep up. The clock is continuing to roll, 30 seconds left. They're not using the timeout. They did call a no huddle. 15 seconds left now, 1st and 10. And that is just chucked out of bounds by Haywood. Didn't even give it a chance. So that essentially worked as a spike. Now it's 2nd and 10 from the 16. Haywood to throw, unsurprisingly. Finds Michael Mayer. And with a few seconds left, they're going to have to burn that timeout and settle for a field goal before we head to the half. They are not settling for a field goal and heading to the half. It's 3rd and 6 from the 12, and it's going to be a throw, and it's out of the back of the end zone. They gave it one attempt, and now they will likely settle for the field goal. So just before halftime, with 3 seconds remaining, Daniel Carlson on to kick another one, and this one is good. 24-16 will be your score as we head to halftime. Good first half from Denver. Chester Truman showing up in a big way today after a quiet week last week. Already 2 touchdowns. And it's a high-scoring affair here, 24-16. And we'll take a look at these scores around the league. Feel free to pause and take a look and see if your favorite team won. The Chargers lost again, 17-7. You can see it there sort of in the bottom right, to the New England Patriots. So the Chargers are now 8-8 and probably not going to make the playoffs. Jacksonville lost to Indianapolis, so that is a tie and a loss now for Jacksonville. They're probably not going to make the playoffs either. Also, the Chiefs did beat the Titans, so that means they have clinched the 1 seed in the AFC. Denver does start with the football here in the second half, 12 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, as Colbert will fake one to Javonte Williams and then look to throw. Doesn't really have a lot of options, but hits the fullback. That's Brandon Gresham. And it's 1st and 10 to the 38 for Denver. On the fresh set of downs, we'll go to Tajay Spears, but Crosby having none of it. A loss of 4, 5 rushes for 9 yards for Spears today. Crosby obviously not the weak link on this defense, as we'll throw this for Javonte Williams, but it is swatted away by Divine Diablo, 3rd and 14. That was Tyree Wilson. I don't know why I said Divine Diablo. I'm not even sure if he's on this team still. 3rd and 14 from the 34. As we'll look to throw over the middle, finding our man, it's Marvin Mims. He gets to midfield, and it's going to be a fresh set of downs again for Denver. Kind of been a bad day for the running game so far, but the passing game's been working nicely, as this goes to Zay Jones, and honestly lucky that that one's knocked out. The corner read that the whole way. 2nd and 10 from the 50. It's a run for Tajay Spears, nowhere to go. Another loss. And it's going to be 3rd and 11. If you're seeing what I'm seeing, it's Chester Truman in press coverage on the left side of your screen. Looks like he's not going to have safety help over the top. Catches the ball and goes down at the 13. Dennis Colbert finds Chester Truman, and it's a 1st and 10 in the red zone for Denver. The guy is a cheat code. After a short run for Javonte Williams on 1st and 10, it is now 2nd and 6 from the 9. As Javonte Williams will get another carry, nowhere to go. It'll be 3rd and 6. From the 9, 3rd down and 6. Dennis to throw, looking for Rashad Winters, back corner of the end zone, but couldn't get it off. 4th and 6 will settle for a field goal. 1st and 10 Raiders, down 27-16 now. And wide open down the field is Josh Jacobs. Stiff arms the hell out of Dante Wake and gets pushed out of bounds by Tyreek Stevenson at the 5. Terrible coverage from Cameron Bynum. I'm not even sure why he was in the game. He's typically not. That would have been Dante Wake, but instead it's Cameron Bynum, and he just cannot keep up with Josh Jacobs. And in one play, the Raiders are down to the 5. The offense has been way too easy to come by for both teams today. 1st and goal from the 5. As it is a handoff to Jacobs. Baptiste can't get there, and a touchdown saved by Cameron Bynum, who is once again in the football game. Now it is 2nd and goal from the 1, expecting a run here again, although it could be play action, you never know. It's actually not even play action, it's just a throw, and it's a catch for Michael Mayer. Touchdown Raiders. They find the end zone in just a few plays after the huge pickup by Josh Jacobs, and they will reduce the lead here in Denver. They are going for the 2-point conversion here from the 2 to make it a 3-point game. We'll see if they can succeed as Haywood throws quickly, caught, and kept out of the end zone. Good play by Chad Muma. It'll be the kickoff coming up. Denver still up by 5. The Raiders still hanging around in this game. Down by 5 now. It is 27-22. From the 25, it's a handoff Spears, and Zion Johnson missed his block 1 yard. Been a terrible day for Tajay Spears. On 2nd and 9 from the 26, we'll go to the air, trying to hit Chester Truman, but it's out of reach. And now it's 3rd down for Denver. 3rd down and 9 from the 26. Dennis to throw. Gonna find Chester Truman because of course, and he gets the first to the 42. Just under 340 yards on the day for Dennis Colbert. 5 catches for 206 yards and 2 touchdowns for Chester Truman, having himself an elite day after the quiet performance a week ago. And we'll look for him again, way down the field. He's got to step on his man. He steps out of bounds at the 21, but it's another huge pickup for Chester Truman. If you give him time, he gets open. 5.5 left in the 3rd quarter. Denver basically in the red zone from the 21. It's going to be a handoff to Javonte Williams. Nobody even tried to block Max Crosby, and it's a loss of 1. 2nd and 11 from the 22. As we're back to pass again. Over the middle, he wanted Jay Stewart, but it's broken up by Glenn Loud. That makes it 3rd down and 11 from the 22. As we're back to pass again, and I'm just going to throw this away to not give a long field goal to Tanner Brown, as Max Crosby was right there. So we will have to settle for yet another field goal attempt from Tanner Brown. That is up, and it is good. It is going to be 30-22, so Denver is up by 8. They will need a 2-point conversion in order to tie on the Raiders side of the football. The Raiders have not struggled offensively whatsoever. They've just had to settle for a lot of field goals. On this occasion, it's a short throw to Hunter Renfrow for a pickup of 4. 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, 30-22. On 2nd down and 6 from the 29, Haywood back to pass all day. Perfect pocket, but it's punched out. I love Drew Sanders. What a great middle linebacker he's turned into. So make it 3rd down and 6 for Vegas as Haywood lobbing one down the field. His man has a step and it's caught. 1st and 10 to the 33 for Thaddeus Hamilton, the 2nd-year wide receiver. I felt like Tyreek Stevenson had earned his job back, and he lets me get burned once again for allowing that to happen as Josh Jacobs on the carry breaks out of a tackle and gets 5, setting up a 2nd and 5 at the 28. 2nd and 5, it is a blitz for Denver and a catch for Hunter Renfrow. He lost some forward progress, but they say he still got the first to the 21. Nearing the end of the 3rd quarter, 2.5 minutes remaining. I have officially benched Tyreek Stevenson once again, and Quincy Walls back in the game. Josh Jacobs on the carry, though, gets a yard to the 20. On 2nd down and 9 from the 20, Mario Haywood under center. He will hand off again to Josh Jacobs, and he meets the 2 middle linebackers. That is Drew Sanders and Devin Bush. A couple of tired players, I guess, as Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito both in the game here. As Haywood throws over the middle, hit as he throws by Zach Allen. It falls incomplete. And on 4th and 7, I'm actually curious if they'll elect to go for this. A field goal doesn't do a ton for them. They are kicking the field goal. I guess it does get them back within 7 points. So Carlson is on for yet another kick. What is this, his 5th so far today? That one is up, it is good, and it is once again a 5-point lead for Denver. 1 minute left in the 3rd quarter, and it is 1st and 10 for the Broncos. They find themselves up 30-25, and in motion is Zay Jones, and it's that little shovel pass play, goes nowhere. No gain, but 1 reception for Zay Jones, so I guess he can't say he wasn't involved. We're trying to set up these run plays to chew some clock, but it is just not working. The running game here in the 2nd half has been abysmal, to say the best about it. And once again, falls incomplete for Dennis Colbert. Free blitzer, 3rd and 10. From the 26 on 3rd down, Dennis to throw, wants Chester, can't bail him out. It's dropped, and it's going to be 4th and 10 for Denver. We will have to punt it away. With 6 seconds left in the 3rd, the Raiders will start from their own 16. A chance to take the lead here for, I think, the first time today as Damari Mathis pushes Hunter Renfrow down a pickup of 8, and that sees us to the end of the 3rd. 2nd and 2 from the 23. A kind of weird camera angle to start there as Josh Jacobs gets another 1st down to the 28. The only silver lining for us is that Josh Jacobs hasn't been very good on the ground either. So neither team really able to run the ball super effectively as Jacobs meets Drew Sanders, and Drew Sanders has won that matchup near every time. The 2-yard pickup sets up a 2nd and 8 for the Raiders. Jacobs in the backfield still, and it is a delayed handoff to him, and Zach Allen all over it, no gain. 3rd down. The run defense from this Denver team has been really excellent today, which is a bit surprising. 3rd and 8, free blitzer. It's Drew Sanders. Haywood lucky to get that one off at all. And now it'll be 4th and 8. The Raiders will have to punt it right back. Denver with the football once again. 10 minutes left to play in the game, and the first play is play action. We'll get it to Tajay Spears anyway and just nowhere to go. 2nd and 10 coming up from the 20. 9.5 minutes left. Javonte Williams will get a carry and finds at least a few yards. Actually, not even a few. It's 2 yards. And it's 3rd and 8. From the 22, a 3rd down. It's play action. And we're going to look for Rashad Winters. Probably should have been intercepted. A bit of an underthrow from Dennis. And it's 4th and 8. We will punt it back once again. Bit of a quiet second half here in Denver. Not a lot of scoring. There was a ton of scoring in the first half. Not very much here. 1st and 10 from the 28. Hunter Renfro, who has got to be the leading receiver for this Raiders team, finds another catch. 1st and 10 to the 42. 8 minutes left to play. Haywood under center. A chance on this drive to take the lead once again. And it's Jacobs finally getting a good carry. Stiff-arming Cameron Bynum, who keeps finding his way into this football game. And it's 1st and 10 to the 32 for the Raiders. There is a reason Cameron Bynum does not see the field a lot anymore, and I think we're seeing it on full display today. Can't make a sure tackle. 1st and 10 from the 32. Carry Josh Jacobs. He's going to get another good one. And this time, Cameron Bynum involved on the tackle. Michael Mayer injured for the Raiders. 7.5 minutes left. 1st and 10 from the 18. They've been going to the ground a ton here in the 4th quarter as Haywood throws, beats the zone a bit, and 2nd and 6 coming up. 7 minutes left in the game. 2nd and 6 from the 14. Mario Haywood will throw quickly. That is caught. And that's Cameron Bynum in coverage once again. They're just bullying Cameron Bynum. 1st and goal at the 5. 6 minutes left. Haywood by himself in the backfield. Throws back of the end zone. Almost hit a camera person. 2nd out. 2nd and goal from the 5. Haywood. A fake to Jacobs and a throw for Adams. And finally, he holds on to one through the PS2 hit. And it's a touchdown for Vegas. They will take the lead here in the football game, and I'm guessing they're going to go for a 2-point conversion to try to make it a 3-point lead, but a touchdown here for the Raiders. They are indeed going for that 2-point conversion from the 2. Haywood changing up the play a bit, takes the snap, fires, Adams, caught. Goes to Adams twice. This time it was Dante Wake in coverage, and the coverage wasn't bad. Devontae just held on, and it's 33-30. The Raiders have the lead. Well, it feels like we can't run the ball, which is a little unfortunate. That's part of why we've struggled so much here in the second half, I think, as Jay Stewart will get a reception, and he'll get a pickup of 8. It is now 2nd and 2. There's 5.5 minutes left, and the Broncos are down by 3, so not a huge rush here. Don't need to force anything. On 2nd and 2, it's play action, and we're going to throw it over the top looking for Rashad Winters. And it is incomplete. 3rd down. 3rd down and 2 from the 33, and we are going to look to throw. We've got Zach Ertz underneath for the free 1st down, and that brings us to the 41. 1st and 10. Handoff. Javonte Williams tries to follow his blocker and breaks a few tackles. Good effort from Javonte Williams to even find 4 yards there. Make it 2nd down and 6 from the 45. And we're going back to Javonte, and finally some running room. A good block from Chester Truman, and Javonte Williams might be gone. He breaks another tackle, and he finds the end zone. Javonte Williams. He finally gets to the 2nd level, and he's gone. He has been playing at an elite level the past few weeks, and he comes up huge here again. The only issue, we did score very fast, and the Raiders are going to have a ton of time to take that lead back. But we will take the points where we can get them. Javonte breaking a ton of tackles and finding 6. Here we go. 4 minutes left. The Raiders have all of their timeouts, and 4 minutes is a ton of time. From the 25, Zach Allen getting in the backfield quickly, getting chased by Khalil Mack as Haywood, he throws it away, setting up a 2nd and 10. We'll need a lot more of plays like that from this Denver defense. They haven't been able to stop anything today. Have struggled mightily all season, and on a screenplay, it doesn't work out. Zach Allen's too fast. 3rd down. This is a pretty critical 3rd down and 10. From the 25, still 4 minutes left to play. Haywood has a man, and that is caught by Thaddeus Hamilton, and he's outrunning Damari Mathis and Dante Wake. That's a touchdown. Damari Mathis gets burned, doesn't have the safety help he needs over the top, and it's a touchdown for the Raiders on like 2 plays. The story of this football game has been big play after big play after big play after big play. Each team is having huge plays time and time again. So the narrative of this whole game, and we can't stop anything on defense. The Raiders retake the lead in like 3 plays. Oh, we're back to where we were last drive. 3:45 left, down by 3. Another shootout here in Denver. It's kind of been the theme of the season. And I tried to hit Rashad Winters, but a bad throw from Dennis Colbert. 2nd and 10 from the 23. Colbert to throw, wants Chester Truman, and we're back to the beginning of the game again, where Dennis Colbert cannot throw accurately on the shortest little throws. And this is going to lose us the football game if he keeps it up. 3rd and 10 from the 23. Dennis to throw. Chester Truman, he misses the throw again. Chester Truman beat his guy off the line, as he does every single time. 3 passing attempts, 3 missed throws for Dennis Colbert, just completely choking the game away. We had really no choice but to punt that football away, so now it's 1st and 10 for the Raiders, and they have a chance to kill the clock and take a dub here in Denver. Like I said, a trap game, and that's a pickup of 7. 2nd down and 3 from the 29. Haywood out of the shotgun, will not hand it off actually, and he's going to take a sack. It's Patrick Surtain. That might be his first sack on the season, and now it's 3rd and 13. I did use a timeout there, just trying to maximize the amount of time we have left. They could have let it go to the 2-minute warning had I not. Need a big tackle here. Josh Jacobs jukes but goes out of bounds with the momentum. And that stops the clock. It's now 4th and 8, and the Raiders will have to punt it back. Dennis Colbert will get another chance. On the last possession, Dennis Colbert could not throw accurately to save his life. And it's kind of what happened to start the game. And now, in the clutch, we need him more than ever. As we'll set up a screen for Javonte Williams. And it doesn't get very far. And we'll hit the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left, and we are down by 3 to the Raiders. It is 2nd and 5 from the 25. And we'll look to throw. And down goes Dennis. 3rd and 12 coming up. Max Crosby in the backfield. With the 2 timeouts remaining, there's really no choice but to go for it on 4th if we get there. But I'm seeing that Jay Stewart is completely by himself, and Dennis just had to make an accurate pass, and he does so. We'll hurry it up. 1st and 10 from the 34. Colbert back to pass. Rolling to his right and going to throw it away. The only requirement on this drive would be getting into field goal range, but obviously, after a tie in the previous week, we'd like a win, as that's a flag down. I think that's defensive pass interference, and it is. So we will get some yards for free. 2nd and 10 after the penalty. And back to pass is Dennis Colbert, and missing Chester Truman once again. This is just an insane performance from Dennis. He has 400 yards, but has played terribly. If you can't hit a simple slant, how are you in the NFL at all? 3rd and 10 from the 46. I'm actually going to hand it off to Javonte Williams, as I liked the look of the run. And it's obviously 4-down territory. We'll hurry it up. So the game can come down to this play right here. 4th and 6. Over the middle. Dennis Colbert to Jay Stewart. He holds on. And we'll call our 2nd timeout with 32 seconds left. 1st and 10 from the 38. They sent a blitz. They forgot about the man, the myth, the legend. They forgot about Jay Stewart. The 6'7" tight end finds the end zone, and Denver is going to retake the lead in the dying seconds. They brought Glenn Loud up. It looked like man coverage, but it was clearly a blitz. It was indeed. Hit Jay Stewart, and he runs it to the end zone. Denver hopefully going to take a victory here, although there is still some time for the Raiders. 27 seconds left, and all 3 of their timeouts. They do have to score a touchdown, though. They're not within 3 points. This is a good start for the Denver defense, as it forces them to burn a timeout. We're just trying to prevent the big play. We don't care if they get medium distance yards. We don't even care if they get in field goal range. Just keep them out of the end zone, as that is another catch, but another not great game. It's 1st and 10 at the 38. They have 19 seconds and 1 timeout remaining. So in the cover 4 is Denver, just trying to prevent big plays, and Mario Haywood is just throwing this game away. And now we're just going man up 3 deep, because they have 14 seconds and no timeouts and have to find the end zone. We'll see what Haywood does. He's stepping up, basically at the line of scrimmage. Has literally all day to throw. Zach Allen is fully frozen, and he throws it away. 4 seconds remaining. I have to show you guys this replay. At least I think that was Zach Allen. At some point, Zach Allen just stopped, and so did his lineman. This game is $70 every year. I just want to point that out. Well, it's going to be a Hail Mary, of course, from the Raiders. They have 4 seconds to try to get to the end zone. And Haywood, running out of time, launches one off his back foot, and it's knocked away by J.L. Skinner, and Denver takes a win. Gets to 10 wins on the season, improving to 10-5-1, avoiding the trap game, although the Raiders gave it their best. The Raiders fall to 3-13. They've been out of the playoff picture for a while, obviously, but nearly ruining the playoff chances of the Broncos, although I think with that victory, we probably do clinch a playoff berth. This game was ridiculous, and I kind of want to talk about it. Just before recording this video, I actually watched Mr. Hurricane's most recent Saints franchise video, and he mentioned that this year's Madden, more than any other Madden, it has been impossible to get games to play consistently. I switched the sliders to the sliders we're currently on. The games had been slightly lower scoring, not a lot lower scoring, and the defenses had been playing relatively well, and we'd been getting a lot of parity, and now we're suddenly back to absolute massive blowouts. It's just impossible to find any consistency in this year's game, and it gets a little frustrating, I can't lie. Like, you see the simmed CPU scores like 24-17, 17-7. I want games like that occasionally where it's hard to score, but instead every single game that we play, it is 44-40, and the sliders I have are absolutely insane, like insanely difficult sliders that should make it very hard to score for both teams, but it's just not. The defenses are horrible. The game is super buggy everywhere, and they release it, the same product, every year for $70, and it's just unbelievably frustrating. And this year, more than any other year, franchise mode has been just a pain. But anyway, rant over. Let's look at player stats. Mario Haywood, 510 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Dennis, 463 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 48% completion percentage. Dennis was awful today. It's just the fact that we couldn't run the ball. We had to throw it a ton, so he ended up with a ton of yards, plus Chester Truman had an absolutely massive day. Josh Jacobs was fine, 14-77. Javonte Williams had 2 big runs, which is what gave him his big day, 11-91. Tajay Spears, 7 for 9, 1.2 a carry. Receiving, Hunter Renfrow did indeed lead in receptions, 8 receptions for 156 yards and a touchdown. Michael Mayer, 7 for 74. If we look at Denver, Chester Truman, 6 for 243 yards and 2 touchdowns. 40.5 average for Chester Truman. Every catch he had went way down the field. He did have 2 drops. Jay Stewart, 6 for 112 and a touchdown. Javonte, 3 for 29. Marvin Mims, 2 for 31. And Rashad Winters, only the 1 catch, but it seemed like every time we tried to throw to him was one of the inaccurate passes from Dennis Colbert. And speaking of which, Chester Truman very easily could have gone for over 300 yards because a lot of the missed passes were directed at him as well. Defensively, Damari Mathis led in solo tackles and in total tackles. In terms of TFLs, it's Zach Allen and Baron Browning with 3 and 2 respectively. And Baron Browning had a sack and a half on the first half. We struggled to find the quarterback in the second half. PS2 had a sack, Zach Allen had a sack, Khalil Mack had half a sack, and no interceptions on the day. Few players to upgrade after that game, one of them being J.L. Skinner, who has played relatively well when he's come into the game. He is pretty young also, he's only 24. I wonder if maybe we start to give him more of a chance even than Cameron Bynum. He's 6'4", absolutely massive, with decent speed at 89. We do probably need to get his zone coverage up, so I will put his point into zone. 1 awareness, 1 pursuit, 1 tackle, and 1 zone coverage for him. Zion Johnson, our left guard, has an upgrade, and he needs to work on his pass blocking and his run block finesse, but all around is just a solid player. Really glad we made that trade with the Chargers, even though you're probably not supposed to do interdivision trades. For him, he gets an agile upgrade, 1 pass block finesse, 1 run block, and 1 run block finesse. And Chester Truman, after his big day, gets an upgrade as well. And at this point, he's good at pretty much everything except for medium and deep route running. His release also isn't great, but it doesn't really matter because he has 99 speed, 99 excel, so he just outruns everyone, but would like to get his release up and his route running up. So we'll go deep threat for him, try to get him some deep route running and release, and hopefully some medium route running along the way. He gets 2 awareness, 2 deep route running, 1 medium route running, and 1 release. That is a huge upgrade for Chester Truman. So we didn't fall victim to the trap. Let's take a look at this cold opponent, see what it says. I know we expected to win that game, but like you said, everyone is a threat in this league. Someone has to lose. Better them than us. Well said, Khalil Mack. I don't know why we're talking to you about this. I thought we'd be talking to the press. Your entire team earned 1,000 XP. The Broncos are 10-5-1, and our last game of the regular season is going to be against the LA Chargers, who are 8-8. Let's take a look at the playoff picture. The Chargers, with their most recent loss and now having lost 4 straight, are no longer in the playoff picture. The Colts are up to the 2 seed after the Bengals lost to the Ravens last week, and we are still the 5 seed, still scheduled to play the Buffalo Bills. And if things stay the same, I imagine that is going to be the playoff matchup. The Bills, of course, we dominated just a few weeks ago, but we know that the playoff Bills are kind of a different breed, and playoff Josh Allen is insane. Also, we haven't talked a lot about the NFC side, but the Falcons are the #1 seed over there, with the Eagles as the 2 seed. The Bears, who started the season like 9-0, have fallen to the 3 seed. Seahawks are the 4 seed playing the Cowboys. The Bears would be playing the Panthers, and the Eagles would be playing the Packers. In the next episode, we'll face off against the Chargers, and we do have a breakout defensive back. I can't think of who this would be. I don't think anybody played particularly well. I almost wonder if it will be Quincy Walls. My curiosity is getting the better of me, so I'm going to take a look at this now. It's Dante Wake. That is such a relief. Dante Wake is a guy I drafted in the 2nd round because he looked like an elite athlete, and he is a great hybrid player. He can play almost any position on the defense at a good to very good level. So the fact that he was normal dev was pretty devastating, honestly. I really wanted him to have a hidden dev trait, so getting him to star dev would be awesome. We need to hold the Chargers to less than 200 yards passing or get Dante Wake 1 INT, forced fumble, TFL, or sack. This seems doable, but at this point, I don't know, because in INT, he doesn't get a lot of interceptions. He doesn't really get TFLs. We're probably going to need to play him at linebacker next week to try to make this happen. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. In the next episode, we'll wrap up the regular season and then get into the playoffs. If you find yourself coming back on the regular and you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that sub button for me. It does help me out a lot. But I will see you guys in the next episode where we'll face off against the Chargers.